Hey guys, Olaf here from LSE. So this is an unboxing video for the Predator. It is the 212 cubic centimeter engine, and so there's one thing in particular you guys need to know. I just learned it because I just bought it. And let me correct the display so I can see what I'm doing. So the engine looks like every normal boxed one. Nothing points out that there is actually two different models out there. For some odd reason, Harbor Freight decided to start with two different engines, and I'm not sure what really specifies one over the other. So the 212 cubic centimeter is with the item number 69730. For some odd reason, they listed in their inventory as a 7 horsepower engine. There is a special coupon right now going on which gives you on the Predator 20% discount. So you end up, instead of $125 plus tax, you're ending up at $99 plus tax. Very good engine from the specs. I just pull it forward here. So I'm gonna zoom in for you guys, that you guys can see what the specs are. So again, this is the 212 engine. There are the specs. Let me get the camera a little bit tilted for you guys. So it has all the same specs as a 6.5 horsepower. So I'm not 100% sure what the big difference is supposed to be. Runs on 87 plus octane unleaded gasoline, 3,800 RPM is max, 212 cubic centimeter, which everything is pretty much the same. So I'm not sure what is going on, but we're gonna unbox this whole thing for you guys and take a look at if there's a difference. I bought it because I had, and I still have, a Honda engine which is 160 cc. It's an older one. It's a CVC 160, and the problem with that is those parts are very hard to come by now. So I have one which is actually on a lawnmower, so that's where the drive shaft goes straight down. I have that one on the pressure washer where it goes to the side, and on the pressure washer everything else is the same from the internal parts. So I said, okay, let me take it apart, take a look what's going on, because it started leaking compression. Lost the compression down to roughly around 40, and didn't want to really start. Had a kickback, and I found out that actually the piston rings are worn, and the piston itself was a little bit worn. I bought a replacement, and for some odd reason it is not the 64 millimeter they sent me, it's a 68 millimeter piston, and so it doesn't fit. And I tried to find the 64, and the only way I can get it right now is through China directly. And because we're end of September, beginning of October, it's actually October 2nd right now when I'm recording this, and till the 5th they're on vacation because of public holiday. So nevertheless, let's unbox this and see if there's anything significantly different, because first I went in, and hopefully you don't hear the wind noise. I have a wind reduction microphone now on, so hopefully that works. You saw it on the Grand Cherokee video, the first time being used. I continue using it. I positioned the microphone a little bit more out of my way so I don't speak too directly into it. So hopefully there's no big difference. Alright, unboxed it. tilt it over because I want to unbox the whole thing, seeing what's going on. This is all the same, just different item number, I'm guessing. Has a solid, this is the, I'm guessing this is the nut for the starter coil. A little bit of styrofoam, good for shipment out of China. Before use, add oil, of course. Let's see what we have. So we pull it out. I pull it out laying down for a reason, so you guys can see. There's nothing really other than that in the box. So we can put the box aside. You guys see right now. It comes in a plastic bag, has 2 of the dry pads. Do not throw them away if you have a big shop compressor. They're good for trapping moisture, so keep those. We have main quick manual here. How to check the oil, how to fill up the gas, how to mount it proper. The choke procedure, the fuel valve turn off and turn on is here. It's pretty much self-explanatory. The speed, the turn on and off function, that's a little bit new here. Has a valve, low oil valve sensor. So if you use that here for racing, make sure that you get that adjusted. Me, I'm using it for a pressure washer, so not a problem. Let's get the plastic bag removed. Again, most of that material is recyclable. Looking at the engine right now with the warning tag, fill gas here, and fuel stabilizer only if you use fuel with ethanol in it. I always use on any small engine ethanol free, so I don't have that problem. And then add engine oil below. I'll go through it in a second, what type of engine oil is actually being used for it. A lot using actually 10W30, which I always have around, but we'll look in the menu and see what it's going. Must check oil level every 8 hours and operate properly or void warranty. A very big nice sticker, typical in Chinese. As you can see, red and green on white background. That's very typical lately. Overall, it looks good. Let me turn it around here. You can access directly the overhead valve, which is good. It's similar to the commercial grade, the 200 cubic centimeter. Honda engine has a couple benefits, which I'm going to come to in a second. There's your spark plug shoe. That sits snug on. Has a standard spark plug, nothing fancy. Has a fuel line holder strapped down here, which is good for all that. That is your speed adjuster. Let's see if we can get easily to the air filter and see what size that is. Okay, so there's a little bit of a kickback on the air filter axis, a little tight. Plastic is solid, so it's not a flimsy, thin, so this is pretty sturdy, that's good. But the air filter is just a foam pad, which I believe looks like a 1/2 inch foam pad. Let's see, a little bit thicker than 1/2 inch, so it's a metric cut what they've done. Most likely it's a centimeter. Yeah, it's a little over 1/2 inch. And 1/2 inch by 3 5/8. Oh, It's not even square. And 3/7/8. So it's definitely not square. So I'm pretty sure you can get these filters just in a fabric store, just as a piece of foam, because that's all there is actually to it. And you have your air intake here on top, which is nice. It's a PP plastic, stamped as such. So if I tilt over, you can see actually here's your air intake. That's where the filter sits in, and then that's where the cover goes with the hook behind here in and snaps in. So that's good. Your typical pull start here looks standard and good, so nothing too fancy about it. Where do we have the oil check levels? Looks like we have 2, where the Honda only has 1 in comparison. They packaged up the drive shaft. They have the key in it, which is good, and is pre-oiled, which is good. So no rust is going to build up on it. Other than that, it looks good. Of course, you have to put the oil in. There is some oil inside. So this one actually comes with some oil in it. Let's see if we have another specification graved in or something. The plate can be removed if you want to access the engine. Is here. That's a solid aluminum. Somebody did some brushing correction here, so I'm guessing they have in the mold hard edges down here. Of course, here's the other mold line. Okay, here's your serial number. It's an A205, so I think this one was actually made in 2005 then. Not sure how the number is being read, but it's a R210. Here's your label, which says when it was actually made. It says right here DOM 2020, and then it has a hole stamped in the letter, which is January, February, March, April, May. So it's a May made, and we are now in October, so very new. And engine oil SAE 1030. There's my 1030. I use just conventional. This is very cheap at Harvest King or Wool King. Harvest King is a Wool King brand. The oil meets all the specs, so everything is good. What we have over here, standard label: if engine stops or will not start, check oil level. That is why you have the solenoid and check here. So you have to check that the oil level is proper. From the mount, pink plate, this is perfect. This is your standard. Let me measure it out for us here in Imperial. It is pretty much center to center 2/5/8 and 2/5/8, so it's nice and square, pretty much standard. So later on when I put my water pump on it, that will fit right on. So it's everything is standard, same as it on the Honda side. Everything else looks good. The breather valve for the overhead is right there. Your bowl is there. The carburetor all looks the way it is. I'm not a fan of all that plastic covering it because it makes it harder to service in the field. But other than that, it looks good. It's built for being outside, so that's one big thing. But the sticker here tells you the upper one is for your choke, and the lower one for your gas to turn on and off. If you use that on a bigger rig, I would highly recommend you change out this tank to a bigger one. But other than that, everything looks the same, so I don't see where this one is supposed to be at 7 horsepower. So, and another spam product. So let's see in here if they say anything, because I don't see really a difference in the manual. So the manual also doesn't say anything about horsepower. All it does is the displacement, which is 212 cubic centimeter, which is standard. Everything else in here standard. Nothing really to worry about. And I'm guessing also that most of these parts for replacement are equal to the Honda models. Here's a written down gasket parts list and everything, so that's standard. Here's a mounting plate, also in measurements. Hope you guys can read it. And there's also for the side mount all the measurements. So that comes all with it, which is nice to have. Pretty sure I'm gonna lose this within the next couple of days. But everything looks like it should be. So, not sure why Harbor Freight decided to have one marked as a 6.5 horsepower and another one as a 7 horsepower. I'll have to check into this a little bit more, but it all looks identical. So I'm not sure what's changed. Also, arrestor is not blocking the exhaust, which is good. Nice cover over it. Couple bolts. Those bolts, all these bolts are zinc coated. So if you leave these engines out, they will rust sooner or later. Some of these bolts don't look to be standard. So I believe everything in there is metric. So I have a 10 millimeter here, and as we can see, it's not a 10, it's a 10 over here. So this is standard. So you have your 10 millimeter here. I'm guessing those most likely gonna be 9 millimeter. Oops. Let's see. I have a 9 millimeter. Nope. So it's not a 9. Are those 8s? Yes. So 8 millimeter bolts here, and your 10 millimeters over here. Some of the overhead cover are also 8 millimeter. So they kept everything in metric. So same as the Honda. This is your 10. This is your 10. So this is all 10. This is standard. And you see there's a little slight play. So they pretty much make it universal. But it's meant to be a 10. So 10 millimeter is what you need. And an 8 millimeter if you want to do service work on it. Your oil drain is here on the side, on the bottom. So what I highly recommend is when you have a stand or you mount it, you have a plate underneath to raise it more up so that you can easier access this. We have it on both sides, so you can access it from either or. And it also looks to be the 10 millimeter bolt pattern. Yep, it's a 10. So they kept that all the same. So again, I'm not sure why something would be different from one model to the other than maybe the SKU number. So the SKU number on this one again is 69730. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a blessed day. Stay safe out there. I'm gonna do a second one here shortly video where I actually gonna have this one then not only running but also installed on a pressure washer with my pressure washer pump, which is a 3.5 gallon AR pump. I believe it's an AR, I just have to check it. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys.